See here. So in the previous class, we discussed about very basic topic, that is what is hardware and what is software. Okay. So what is hardware? Hardware means all computer parts and study of those are comes under hardware. So several computer parts are there like keyboard, scanner, mouse, monitor. In the CPU again, hard disk is there, processor, motherboard. All those computer parts are comes under hardware. What is software? Software is the set of programs where program is a set of instructions. So some set of instructions will become a program, and such type of set of programs will become a software. Okay. So in the software, how many types are there? Two types are there. What are those? First one is system software. Second one is application software. What are the examples for system software? Operating system, compiler, interpreter, device driver. So these are comes under system software. So all these softwares are used to run the computer and manage the functionality of the computer. So the software that is used to run the computer is called system software. So operating system, compiler, interpreter, device driver, these four are comes under system software. Okay. Next, so here compiler, interpreter are the translators. They translates a high level code to the low level code and low level code to the high level code. Our language is a high level language, computer language is low level language. So they translate high level instructions to the low level instructions, low level instructions to the high level instructions. So the difference between compiler and interpreter is compiler translates all instructions at a time. If 100 statements are there, 100 statements will be translated at a time. If 1000 statements are there, 1000 statements will be translated at a time. That is compiler. Whereas interpreter translates line by line. Okay. Then this device driver, this software is required to communicate with any device. To work with the printer, printer drivers are required. To work with the scanner, scanner drivers are required. So operating system you already know. Okay, so if operating system is not there, we cannot maintain our own files and folders, etc. So application software means, second type is application software. Application software means that is used to perform particular kind of applications. Like to perform office applications, we can use MS Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. To perform DTP applications, we use PageMaker, Photoshop. To perform database applications, we use softwares like Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL. So all these are examples for application software only. So regularly we are using game softwares. Those game softwares are application softwares only. We are using WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger. Those are the application softwares only. Banks are using their own software. That bank management software is the application software. Okay, so like this. So system software is used to run the system. Application software is used to perform particular applications. Operating system, compiler, interpreter, device driver comes under system software. Okay, so these game softwares, shopping mall softwares, restaurant management softwares, such type of softwares are comes under application softwares. So till here we discussed in the previous class. Okay, now listen, today I want to talk about C++. What is the purpose of C++? Who introduced C++? All these things I will explain now. Listen carefully here. So C++. So what is C++? You already know this. C++ is a language. C++ is a language. C++ is a language. So to say more clearly, you can say this C++ is a general purpose programming language. So this C++ is a general purpose language. So it is the general purpose. It is the general purpose programming language. So what is C++? That is a language. That is a programming language. It is the general purpose programming language. The C++ is the general purpose middle level programming language, and this C++ is the general purpose middle level object oriented programming language. So here I used three terms. The C++, I'm calling this as a programming language, means we develop the programs, we develop the softwares by using this language. So a programming language is used to develop the softwares. Okay, so this C++ is the programming language. I'm calling this as the general purpose middle level object oriented programming language. C++ is the general purpose middle level object oriented programming language. Okay, I will explain these terms. What is general purpose, middle level, okay, object oriented. Now I will explain. Okay, just wait. So before that, I talk about who introduced this C++. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about this C++. So who introduced this C++? Okay, see, this C++ was introduced by Born Strostrup. So his name is Born. Pronounce it as Born. Born Strostrup. Born Strostrup. So Born Strostrup is the father of C++. Who introduced this C++ language? Born Strostrup introduced this C++ language. Okay, so he officially this C++ language released in the year 1982. In the early 1980s, the C++ language was released. So initially they didn't give name as C++. So initially they have given name as C with classes. Initially they have given name as C with classes. So who is the father of C++? Who developed C++? Barn Strostrup is the father of C++. Barn Strostrup developed C++ language. He introduced this software in the 1982 with the name C with classes. So after that, in the 1983, this language was renamed as C++. So initially they have given Barn Strostrup has given name as C with classes. So later it was renamed as C++. It was renamed as C++. So who is the father of C++? Who introduced C++? Barn Strostrup. He introduced this language, first version he introduced in 1982 with the name C with classes. Later in the 1983 it was renamed as C++. See, this C++ is the extension of C language. Okay, it is the advanced version of C language. It is extension of C language, means it is the advanced version of C language. So to the C language, what they added is, to the C language they added classes concept. To the C language they added classes concept, means they added OOPS concepts. So OOPS concepts are added. So what are the OOPS concepts are there? Like OOPS concepts are there. I'm writing the list of OOPS concepts. Just listen the terms. Okay, all these terms I will cover in our course, no problem. Just listen the terms. Encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. So these are called OOPS concepts. So encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. So these four concepts are called OOPS concepts. Okay, so if any language that supports to these four concepts, we can say that language as the object oriented programming language. Okay, so to the C language they added these OOPS concepts. For all these four concepts, common concepts are class and object. Okay, so here class and object are the common concepts for encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. So if any language that supports to encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism, then that language is called object oriented programming language. So these are called concepts. Okay, so first concepts were introduced. After that, based on the concepts, languages were developed. So first concepts were introduced. Based on the concepts, they developed the languages like C++, Java, Python, C#. Those are the object oriented programming languages. So these concepts, these OOPS concepts are added to the C language. So that's why he has given name as C with classes. Okay, so this C++ is the advanced version of C language. C language has some drawbacks. To avoid those drawbacks, they introduced this C++ language. So it is the extension of C language. To the C language, they added the concept, classes concept, means OOPS concepts they added. Okay, so that's why he has given name as C with classes. Later, in the after 1 year, it was renamed as C++. So why they have given name as C++? Because to the C, in the C language, there is one operator, that is increment operator. increment operator is there in the C language. You already know this one. For the increment operator, symbol is what? Plus plus. For example, x value is 8. I'm writing x plus plus. X plus plus means now x value will become 9 here. So x value will be increased now. Like that, to the C language, they added classes concept. So the C language is incremented here. So C language is incremented by adding some features. So that's why they have given name as C++. Okay, means C language. To the C language, they added some features. C language is incremented. Okay, C to the C language, they added some advanced features, and they have given name as C++. That's it. Okay, so this is introduction on C++. Okay, once again I'm repeating. Listen. So what is C++? It's a language. It's a programming language. To say more clearly, the C++ is the general purpose, middle level, and object oriented programming language. Who introduced this C++? Barn Strostrup introduced this C++ in the year 1982. Initially, he had given name as C with classes. Later, it was renamed as C++. So it is advanced version of C language. The C language has some drawbacks, like C language does not provide security. It does not provide reusability. Like that, some drawbacks are there. I discussed later. So to avoid those drawbacks of C language, they introduced which language? C++ language. So to the C language, Barney Stroustrup added OOPS concepts. Okay, so that's why he has given name. He had given name as C with classes. So later it was renamed as C++ because this is incremented version of C++. It is incremented version of C language. Okay, to the C language, some features are added. So they had given name as C++. That's it. Okay, I want to talk more about C++ language. So whenever he is developing the C++ language, he has taken features from many languages. See, this Barney Strostrup is the fan of C language. He is a fan of C language. This Barney Strostrup is a fan of C language. So when he was studying PhD, when he was studying PhD, he was using one language to develop the project. He was using one language. That language is Simula 67. So when this Barney Strostrup was studying PhD, he was developing the project in the Simula 67. Okay, so he know the features of Simula 67, but he is a great fan of C language. He's a great fan of C language. So he likes C language features because it is a simple programming language. It has many features. So before C language, these features were not there. Okay, so he's the great fan of C language, and he also know the concepts of Simula 67. So what he did is, the Simula 67 is the object oriented programming language. The Simula 67 is the object oriented programming language. So this Simula 67 has some concepts. Simula 67 has some concepts. What are those? Classes concept. Classes concept was there in the Simula 67. Virtual functions concept. Okay, means polymorphism. Means polymorphism concept. This one, polymorphism concept. Okay, is in the Simula 67. Okay, inheritance concept. Inheritance concept. Okay, inheritance concept was there in the Simula 67. Okay, so here inheritance is there, classes concept is there, means that is indirectly encapsulation abstraction also will be there here. So this Simula 67 has OOPS features, and this C language this to the C language, he added, to the C language he added these OOPS concepts, and he developed the language as C++. Okay, so to the C language he added the concepts of Simula 67. The Simula 67 was not that much powerful language. Okay, that's execution process was very slow. Okay, so that's why, so this C language is the powerful programming language. Its execution is faster. So the C language is a powerful programming language. The Simula 67 was not that much powerful programming language. So what Barnes Strostrup did is he has taken similar 67 features and he added to the language C language, and hence he developed a new language, C++ language. So like that, he has taken some concepts from another language. That language name is ADA. So language name is ADA. This ADA is one programming language name. From the ADA programming language, he has taken concepts like template functions, template classes, like inline functions concept. So this inline functions concept, templates concept, these features he has taken from the ADA language and he added to the C++. And to write the comment lines in the C language, we use symbols like this: slash star, star slash. This is to write the comment lines. So if you want to write any comment line like program title, okay, anything, we use slash star, star slash. So this is in the C language. Whereas in the C++, single line commenting is available like double slash, and multi-line commenting is available like C style, slash star, star slash. So the single line commenting feature he had taken from the language BCPL language, BCPL, okay, basic combined programming language. So from the BCPL language, he has taken the style of writing comments. Okay, so comment lines feature he has taken from BCPL language. Okay, all the features of C language, data types, control structures, operators, all the concepts of C language he added. From the similar 67 language, he added features like classes, virtual functions, in okay means polymorphism, virtual functions means polymorphism, inheritance. All these OOPS concepts he added from similar 67. So templates concept, inline functions concept he added from ADA language. So this C++ has features. Those features are derived from the languages like BCPL language, C language, similar 67 language, and ADA language. But most of the features they have taken from C language and similar 67 only. Most of the features he had taken from C language and similar 67. So he developed a new language, that is C++. Once again, I'm repeating, listen carefully here. Okay, so what is this C++? It is a programming language. It is the general purpose middle level object oriented programming language. Who developed this C++ language? Barnes Strostrup. He introduced this language officially in the 1982. Okay, then he announced name as C with classes. Initially he had given name as C with classes, so later it was renamed as C++ in the 1983. So it is advanced version of C++. To the C language they added OOPS concepts, so that's why I'm calling the C++ is the advanced version of C++. It is the extension of sorry, it is the advanced version of C language. It is the extension of C language. C++ is the extension of C language. All the programs in the C language, almost all the programs in the C language, we can run in the C++ also, because all C language features they added to the C++, almost all the features. So 99% of programs of C language we can run in the C++. Okay, so this C++ language developed from, so this to develop this C++ language, this Barnes Strostrup had taken features from many languages like BCPL language, C language, similar 67 language, and ADA language. So all the features of C language he had taken, and OOPS concepts he had taken from similar 67. This template functions, inline functions concept, these features he had taken from ADA language. Comment lines style he had taken from BCPL language. So he added features to the C++, okay, by borrowing the features of other languages. So to the C++ language, he added features of other languages. So hence he developed this C++ language. Okay, so hence this C++ language came. Okay, so he had taken features of other languages. Okay, so based on those features, he developed this C++ language. So most of the features he had taken from C language and similar 67. Okay, now see what are the features. These terms I will cover in the features only. So general purpose, middle level, object oriented, these terms I will cover in the features. Okay, now see, observe what are the features of C++. I'm writing the list here. features of C++. Okay, see, listen carefully, try to understand the concept. Okay, now you may listen some new terms. Okay, so some students may understood this class, or some students may not understood this class. Okay, so because the features which I explain now, that you will learn in our entire course. So entire course we will overview now I'm going to talk. So you may understand or you may not understand. So if you don't understand, don't bother about it, no problem. I again, these topics will be covered in our course, but try to understand, try to listen the terminology. Okay, I explain all the features. I write the list of features of C++. Listen. So just now I told the C++ is the general purpose programming language. I'm calling this as the general purpose programming language. And this C++ is the middle level programming language. It is the middle level programming language. C++ is the middle level programming language, and it is the object oriented. This is the biggest feature. This is the biggest feature of C++. This is the object oriented programming language. Okay, so this C++ has also some drawbacks. To avoid those drawbacks, they introduced what? Java. So like that, Java is the object oriented programming language. Python is the object oriented programming language. Okay, so this C++ was the first famous object oriented programming language. So first object oriented programming language was Simula 67. This is Simula 67 OPS concepts he added to the C++. So first famous object oriented programming language is the C++. C++ is the object oriented programming language, and it is the portable. It is the portable programming language. C++ is a portable programming language. It has portability feature. Okay, and it is providing rich library to us. It is providing rich library to us. Okay, so predefined classes are available, predefined functions are available, like that. And it is extensible. It is extensible programming language. It is extensible programming language. It is the extensible programming language. Okay, and it is providing basic security for the data. It's providing basic security for the data. It supports to exception handling concept. C++ supports to exception handling concept. This is also very important feature. C language has this. C language is not providing this feature, whereas C++ is providing this exception handling feature. Okay, next templates are there, like that. STL concept is there. STL. Okay, dynamic memory allocation is there. Dynamic memory allocation. So all these are the advantages of features of C++. So this is the list of features of C++. Okay, try to understand. Okay, so what are the features of C++? First one is general purpose programming language. It is a general purpose programming language. It is a middle level programming language. It is the object oriented programming language. It is the portable programming language. It provides rich library to us. It is the extensible programming language. It provides basic security for the data. Okay, it provides exception handling feature, templates concept, STL concept, and dynamic memory allocation. These are the features of C++. Among these, first one is what? General purpose programming language. So what is general purpose programming language? See here. So according to the, listen carefully here, according to the number of kinds of applications, these programming languages can be divided into two types. According to the number of kinds of applications, we can divide the programming languages into two types. Those are, first one is specific purpose programming languages. Specific purpose programming languages. Second one is general purpose programming languages. So there are two types of programming languages according to the number of kinds of applications. According to the number of kinds of applications, there are two types of programming languages. Those are specific purpose programming languages and general purpose programming languages. So two types are there: specific purpose programming languages, general purpose programming languages. Specific purpose programming language means using one language, we can develop one kind of application only. Using one language, we can develop one kind of application only. We cannot develop many kinds of applications. See, you already know when C++ language was introduced. The C++ language was introduced in 1982. Okay. So before 1982, was there any programming languages? Yes. Programming languages were there. Before C++ also, programming languages were there. Like C language was there. When this C language was introduced? In the 1972. So C language was introduced in 1972. So before C language, was there any programming languages? Yes, before C language also some programming languages were there. Those programming languages are, yes, COBOL is the, yes. So before C++, so before C language, COBOL language was there. Okay, I will explain. See, now I'm explaining. So specific purpose programming language means using one language, we can develop one kind of application only. So the C language introduced in 1972. Before C language, all the languages were specific purpose programming language only. So the languages which were existed before C language, almost all those languages are specific purpose programming language only. Means using one language, we can develop one kind of application only. Listen carefully, try to understand. Okay, what are those languages? So first high level programming language was Fortran language. Fortran was the first high level programming language. This was the first high level programming language. Okay, so before that only assembly language, machine language were there. So this Fortran was the first high level programming language. Fortran stands for formula translator. Fortran stands for formula translator. Fortran stands for formula translator. Using this language, it is suitable to develop the scientific applications only. So the main purpose of this Fortran language was to, we can develop scientific applications. So to develop the scientific applications, they developed this language. Okay, like scientific related calculations. Okay, like predicting earthquakes, to know the report about the weather. Such type of applications or comes under scientific applications. So knowing report about the weather, predicting the earthquakes, okay, performing calculations, okay, like physical sciences calculations, okay, so such type of calculations. So this Fortran is suitable to develop the scientific applications. It is suitable to develop the scientific applications. And another language was there before C language. Another language was there, that is COBOL language. Okay, this COBOL stands for common. COBOL stands for common. CO means common business. Common business oriented language. COBOL stands for common business oriented language. So this was used to develop the. This was used to develop the business applications. So for business applications, they developed this COBOL language. This COBOL language suitable to develop the business applications. This Fortran language is suitable to develop the scientific applications. So like that, MATLAB language was there. MATLAB language. MATLAB stands for Matrix Laboratory. MATLAB stands for Matrix Laboratory. So it is suitable to work with the matrices, to work with the rows and columns. Okay, so to perform mathematical applications, it is suitable. So for mathematical applications, this one is suitable. So like that, a graphic language was there. Using graphic language, we can develop graphical applications only. Okay, so like this, using one language, we can develop how many kinds of applications? One kind of application only. So using Fortran language, this Fortran is suitable to develop the scientific applications only. It is not suitable to develop the business or mathematical or graphical applications. Whereas this COBOL, COBOL is suitable for business applications. It is not suitable for scientific or mathematical or graphical applications. This MATLAB is suitable for mathematical applications. Graphic language is suitable for graphical applications. So using one language, we can perform how many kinds of applications? One kind of applications only. So all these languages are examples for specific purpose programming languages. So these languages are called specific purpose programming languages. Using one language, we can develop one kind of application only. Okay. Now, see, think here, to perform one kind of application, we are using one language. Okay, now as a programmer, we are the programmers. Now we are the programmers. As a programmer, we have to develop all these four kinds of applications. As a programmer, we have to develop scientific applications, business applications, mathematical applications, and graphical applications also. So to develop all these kinds of applications, we have to learn how many languages? We have to learn how many languages? 4 languages perfectly. Okay, so learning one language perfectly is difficult to us. Learning one language perfectly is difficult to us. Like that, we have to learn how many languages now? 4 languages to develop all these kinds of applications. Okay, once upon a time, the situation was to develop all these kinds of applications, we have to learn many languages. Okay, so using one language, we can develop one kind of application only. If you want to perform all kinds of applications, we have to learn all those languages. We have to develop programs in all those languages. So learning one language perfectly is difficult to us. Like that, we have to learn 4 languages now. It becomes more difficult to us. So that's why from the start, Dennis Ritchie developed a language. That language is C++. That language is C language. That language is C language. The C language brought so many changes in the software industry. C language is the first general purpose programming language. So this C language is the general purpose programming language. This is example for general purpose programming language. So C language has some drawbacks. So to avoid those drawbacks, Barnish Rostrup introduced this C++ language. So all the features of C language are also available for C++, because the C++ is the incremental version of C language. This C++ is the extension of C language. So all the features of C language are also available for the C++. So C language is a general purpose programming language, means C++ is also general purpose programming language. Means what? Using this C and C++, we can develop business applications, we can develop scientific applications, we can develop mathematical applications, and we can also develop graphical applications. So like this, we can develop many kinds of applications by using this C and C++. So that's why these are called general purpose programming languages. So C, C++ are the examples for general purpose programming languages, whereas this Fortran, COBOL, MATLAB, Graphic, these are the examples for specific purpose programming languages. Okay, so I am calling this C++ as the general purpose programming language because we can develop many kinds of applications. For many kinds of applications, there is one common language, that is C++. So that's why we are calling this C++ as the general purpose programming language. Okay, so I explained very clearly. I hope you understood. Okay, so according to the number of kinds of applications, how many types are there? 2 types are there: specific purpose programming languages, general purpose programming languages. Specific purpose programming language means using one language we can develop one kind of application only. General purpose programming language means using one language we can develop many kinds of applications. We can develop many kinds of applications. So C, C++ are examples for general purpose programming languages, whereas Fortran, COBOL, MATLAB, Graphic are examples for specific purpose programming languages. So this is about general purpose programming language. Now the next feature is, I'm calling this C++ as the middle level programming language. So this is also very important feature of the C++. Okay, so this middle level programming language feature, this feature brought so many changes in the software industry. Okay, this general purpose programming, middle level programming, so this all these features, they brought so many changes in the software industry. Okay, so before this C++, middle level programming language were not there. Okay, so this C++ I'm calling as the middle level programming language. So what is middle level programming language? Now I will explain. See here. So C++ is the middle level programming language. C++ is the middle level programming language. So I'm calling C++ as a middle level programming language. Why? Because this has C++ language has high level language features, high level language features, high level language features plus low level language features. It has both the features of high level languages and low level languages. So it has high level language features as well as low level language features. Okay, that's why we are calling this C++ as the middle level programming language. Now you may get a doubt. What is this high level language and what is this low level language? Now let me explain about what is high level language and what is low level language. So languages, low level languages and high level languages. Okay, there are, see, high level languages. So according to the purpose of programming language, according to the purpose of programming languages can be divided into three types. Okay, so programming languages can be divided into three types. How many types? Three types. So how many types of programming languages are there? Three types of programming languages are there. Okay, so according to the purpose of the application. Okay, so according to the purpose of the language, according to the purpose of the programming language, we can divide the programming languages into three types. According to the purpose of the programming languages, we can divide the programming languages into three types. Those are high level languages, low level languages and middle level languages. High level programming languages, low level programming languages and middle level programming languages. Three types of programming languages are there. Then what is high level language? High level language means very simple. High level language means this is human understandable language. So we can understand this one very easily. So this is human understandable language. So in simple terms, you can say this is human understandable language. So high level language is the human understandable language, whereas this low level language is the system understandable. System means computer system. Okay, so system means computer here. So system understandable language. Okay, so low level language means computer understandable language, means system friendly language. System can understand that language easily. Okay, high level language means human understandable language. We can understand that language easily. So English words we use in the programs. Okay, like we use the to print the data, we write like this, print. Okay, so in the C language you use functions like this, printf function. Okay, scanf function. Okay, so to find the square root you use the English word sqrt. To find the power value use the English word pow. So such type of English words we use in the programs. Okay, so those we can understand easily. So that is, those are what human understandable languages. So what are the examples for high level languages? High level language examples are Java. Okay, C sharp language. Okay, Python language. Okay, uh, COBOL language, Fortran language. So all those are what? Those are the high level languages. Means human understandable languages. We can understand that code very easily. Okay, human friendly languages. Okay, whereas this low level language means system friendly languages. Okay, so system can understand this code very easily. Okay, what are the examples for low level languages? Like machine language. This machine language is example for low level language. And assembly language is example for low level language. So only these two languages are comes under low level languages. First one is machine language and second one is assembly language. So machine language, assembly language, this both are comes under low level languages. Both are examples for machine language, assembly language are examples for low level languages. This is Java language, C sharp language, Python language. These are comes under high level languages. Okay, now see, what is the purpose of low level language? So here I want to talk more about this low level languages. See here, machine language means it will be in the form of zeros and ones. Machine language means it will be in the form of zeros and ones. We write the code in the form of zeros and ones. So 110001, like this binary language. Computer can understand that. We cannot understand that one. So there is computer friendly language. So assembly language means, okay, so here also we use machine language code only, but some mnemonics we use here. Some mnemonics are added here. Okay, some English words are added. So we call those English words as mnemonics. Like to move the cursor. So to move from one place to another, we use MOV. For addition, we use mnemonic ADD. For subtraction, for subtraction, okay, we use SUB. For division, DIV. So like this, okay, load. Okay, such type of mnemonics we use in the assembly language. So some directly understood by the computer, some cannot be understood by the computer. So here in the assembly language, for translation we use assembler. So this mnemonics will be translated into the low level language by this assembler. So assembler was the first translator that translates mnemonics to the machine language. So assembler was the first translator that translates such type of mnemonics to the machine language. Okay, so the what is the advantage with this low level languages? They can directly communicate with the hardware. This is the advantage here. So low level languages can directly communicate with the hardware, directly communicate with the devices. Hardware means what? Devices. In the previous class I told. So it can directly communicate with the hardware means devices. So directly it can communicate with the devices. Okay, so less memory consumption will be there. Okay, so that works faster. Okay, so because these are system friendly languages, low level language means system friendly languages, but writing code in these low level languages is difficult to us. So that's why they developed what? High level languages. So these high level languages are the human understandable languages. Okay, so we use English words in these languages. So and also so many features will be there, like that provides operators, like this operators, that provides control structures, such type of features. Okay, uh, will be provided by these high level languages. So I am talking one important point here. These high level languages are suitable, high level languages are suitable to develop the application software. Okay, in the software two types of softwares are there. These high level languages are suitable to develop the application software, whereas these low level languages are suitable to develop the system software. Okay, so these are the features of low level languages, these are the features of high level languages. Okay, high level language means this is programmer friendly language, human understandable language. Okay, it provides features like operators, control structures, okay, etc. And it is suitable, high level languages are suitable to develop the application softwares like bank management softwares, college management softwares, shopping mall softwares, games. To develop such type of application softwares we can use these high level languages, like examples are Java, C sharp, Python. These are comes under high level languages. Okay, so what are the examples for low level languages? Machine language, assembly language. So these are used to develop the system software, means these are used to develop the compiler. So to develop the compiler, we can use assembly language. To develop the interpreter, we use assembly language. We can develop OS also, operating system. We can develop device driver software also. So all these are what system software examples. So these low level languages are suitable to develop the system software like compiler, interpreter, operating system, and device driver. Whereas this high level language is suitable to develop the application software like hotel management software, college management software, game softwares, etc. Okay, I am calling this C++ and C as the middle level programming languages. So C language is the first middle level programming language introduced. So C++ has C language features, all C language features. So you can say this C++ as the middle level programming language. Means now it has high level language features and it has low level language features. So C++ has high level language features, high level language features plus low level language features, low level language features. So it has high level language features and it has low level language features. So that's why we are calling this C++ as the middle level programming language. So using C++, we can develop system software. Using C++, we can develop system software, and as well as we can also develop application software. So using C++, we can develop system software as well as application software. So after the introduction of C and C++, this assembly language became outdated. Assembly language became outdated. After the introduction of C, C++, this assembly language became outdated. So what is the purpose of this assembly language? We can develop compilers, interpreters, operating systems, and device drivers. Means we can develop system software. After the introduction of C++, this assembly language became outdated. Why? Because using this C++, we can develop system software as well as application software. Okay, you already know Unix language. This Unix operating system developed in which language? C language. Unix operating system developed in which language? C language. So Dennis Ritchie was trying to develop this Unix operating system in the BCPL language actually. So he found so many drawbacks in the BCPL language. So he made a new language that was what? C language. So all the C language features are also for C++. Means using C++ you can develop operating systems. See, we are using languages like Java language, Python language. This Java language is the compiled and interpreted programming language. Means Java has compiler and Java has interpreter. So Java has both compiler and interpreter. So such type of compilers and interpreters of Java language are developed by which languages? Like C++. Okay, in the Python we use interpreter. In the Python we use interpreter. That interpreter developed by which language? C++. So we can develop such type of compilers, interpreters, okay, operating systems, okay, such type of system softwares we can develop by using C++. And we can also develop application softwares, okay, like business softwares, okay, shopping mall softwares, restaurant management softwares. We can develop such type of softwares also. So we can develop system software as well as application software. So we can develop system software as well as application software. The C++ are suitable to develop both. So that's why we are calling it as a middle level programming language. So it can communicate with the devices easily, and it can communicate with the programmer easily. So that's why we are calling this as the middle level programming language. That's it. Okay. So next feature is, see here. So this is about middle level programming language. Very simple. Okay. Okay. Maybe network problem. Okay. So somebody is telling that my voice is breaking. Maybe network problem. Maybe from your side or maybe from my side. Okay. So there's okay. Please listen. See. Okay. Okay. See here. So according to the purpose of programming languages, according to the purpose of programming languages can be divided into three types. Those are high level languages, low level languages, and middle level languages. High level language means human understandable language. Low level language means system understandable language. So low level language directly communicate with the devices. High level language directly, it cannot communicate directly with the devices. So their compilers, interpreters are required. Okay, so it is programmer friendly. High level language is a programmer friendly. Low level language is a computer friendly, devices friendly. Okay, this C++ has both high level language features as well as low level language features. It is suitable to develop both system software, application software. High level languages are suitable to develop application softwares. Low level languages are suitable to develop the system softwares. Whereas the C++ is suitable to develop application software as well as system software. So you can say this C++ as the middle level programming language. Next feature, third feature. Third feature is it is the object oriented programming language. I'm calling C++ as the object oriented programming language. I don't want to talk much about this feature now. In the classes and objects chapter, I talk very clearly about this object oriented. Okay, this is very important feature. This is object oriented feature is very important feature for the C++. Okay, now all of you are learning C++. Okay, so if you are perfect in C++ means now day by day this C++ is becoming Java only. Almost all the features of Java now for the modern C++, this modern C++ has almost all the features of Java. So now you are learning C++ means almost 50 to 60% Java language you are learning here. So you can learn advanced languages very easily if you are perfect in the C++. Okay, so this object oriented topic, I'm calling this C++ is the object oriented programming language. I will explain clearly about this feature in the objects and classes chapter. Okay, now just see, listen the terminology. If any language that supports to encapsulation, abstraction, if any language that supports to encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. So all these topics, again, I will discuss clearly. Inheritance is one chapter, polymorphism is one chapter, encapsulation and abstraction is one chapter. Okay, in our course. So we clearly discuss all these features in the further classes. Just remember that encapsulation, if any language that support to, if any language if that supports to encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism, that language is called object oriented programming language. If any language that supports to encapsulation or abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism, if any language that supports to these four concepts, that language is called object oriented programming language. For all these four concepts, two common concepts are there. Those are classes and objects. Classes and objects. Okay, so these are the object oriented features. These features are there for the C++. These features are supported by the C++. These features are provided by the C++. So that's why I'm calling C++ as the object oriented programming language. Okay, now I will explain the next feature. Okay, now within 10 minutes I finish the session. Okay, I will take class for more 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes I finish the session. Now I want to talk about the fourth feature, portable programming language. Listen carefully, this is also very important feature. This is also very important feature of the C++. So before C language, before C++, this portable feature was not there for the programming languages. With the introduction of C language only, this portable feature came. Yes, I will give time. I will give time for the doubts, no problem. Okay, Islam, I will give time. Okay, after completion of class, I will give time. Okay, for every session, in every session, I will give time for clarifying the doubts. Okay, listen, portable. I'm calling this as the this C++ as the portable programming language. I'm calling C++ as the portable programming language. Okay, so why it is a portable programming language? Because, so what is the general meaning of portable? Portable means easily we can move, easily we can carry and move. We can run anywhere. So easily we can move and run anywhere. Okay, so portable means the C++ programs in one system. C++ programs in one system means the application developed in C++ can run in C++ programs in one system can run in any other system, can run in any other system, even if operating system is different, even if operating system is different. Okay, so once upon a time this portable feature was not there. If you are developing application in one system means you can develop that, you can run that application in that system only. You cannot run on another system. But after the introduction of C language, this portable feature came. Okay, so the C++ programs in one system can also run in any other system, even if operating system is same or different. Okay, so if operating system is same or different, we can run the programs in one system. Once again I'm repeating, the programs in one system we can run on any other system, even if operating system is same or different. That feature is called portable. So without making any changes to the program, we can run on any system. So we can run anywhere. Okay, we can run on any system. So that feature is called what? Portable. That feature is called portable. So easily we can move C++ programs. So portable means the general meaning is easily we can move, easy to move. So easily we can move C++ programs from one system to another and we can run. So that feature is called portable feature. Okay, I will explain clearly with the execution process. Listen carefully here. Okay, now see, for example, I am developing one C++ software here. Observe carefully. I am writing a program now. Here I'm writing a program. This is the C++ program. So that program, in the program we are writing some instructions. I'm calling that code as the source code. Now this code is called source code. So we are writing the program here. Set of instructions are there. Here set of instructions I'm writing. This program I'm saving in one particular file. I am giving file name as hello.cpp. So this hello.cpp file has source code. C++ code is there. C++ program is there. Okay. So this program is in high level language. This source code is in which language? High level language. So this is high level language code. Okay. Does computer understand this language? No. Computer cannot understand this high level language code. So for computer understanding purpose, we have to compile this program now. So now we compile this program. After compilation, that translates this high level code to the low level language code. Translate the source code to the machine code. That translates source code to the machine code. Just a minute. Okay. So compiler, here we are using what? Compiler. That compiler is translating this high level code to the low level code, means the source code that is translating to the machine code. That machine code will be placed in one particular file. Okay, that file name is hello, but extension is exe. This is called executable file. Exe stands for executable. So this is called executable file. Executable file contains machine code, or you can say this as native code. You can say this as native code. This is operating system's language. So operating system can understand this one. So operating system displays output to us on monitor. So here that gives result to us. That displays result. So this is the execution process of CPP program. Okay, I am writing this program in one computer. This is assume that this is one computer. So in this program we are writing this one. Okay, so assume that this computer has a Windows operating system, Windows 10 operating system, Windows 10 operating system installed in this computer. Okay, now once again I'm repeating, listen carefully here. Listen carefully. Sorry, just a minute. So here what we are doing, we are writing C++ program. That code I'm calling as source code. So in the program instructions are there, the set of instructions, some instructions are there. I'm calling that code as a source code. We are writing some code that is source code. That is in high level language. So that source code I'm storing in one particular file with the name hello. Okay, .cpp is the extension for CPP file. For the song files .mp3 is the extension. For the video files .mp4 .3gp are the extensions. For images .jpg. For the animations .gif, like that. For the CPP extension is .cpp. So to identify this is which type of file, to identify that one, this is which type of file, to identify that one, operating system uses this extension. So for the CPP file, extension is .cpp. I'm saving this source code in one particular file. The file name I'm giving as hello.cpp is the extension. So we developed a program. This program is in high level language. Computer cannot understand that one. So we have to compile this program. Okay, so compiler translates this high level code to the low level code. So programmer understandable code to the computer understandable code that translates, and that places that machine code in one particular file. That file name is also hello. That extension is .exe. .exe is the extension for the machine code file. This machine code can be also called as native code. This is the language of operating system. Only operating system can understand this language. So operating system displays result to us when we run this program. So this is the execution process. Okay. See, very simple. Here after compilation, what? See, once again I'm repeating. After compilation, that is creating what? Exe file. After compilation, that is creating exe file. That in the exe file, that exe file contains what? Machine code. That exe file contains what? Machine code. Okay, so that machine code we cannot understand. Okay, but internally operating system software can understand this code. So that translates, that runs this machine code, and that displays output to us. So operating system can understand this machine language code, so that displays result to us. When we run this program, Operating system converts this machine code to our code, okay, and that displays to us. Internally, that takes the help of compilers and interpreters only. Internally, operating system takes the help of compilers and interpreters only. When we run the application, when we run this machine code, operating system, okay, that can understand this machine code and the displays result to us. Machine code means that is operating system's language. Remember this one. So listen carefully here. Now this computer has which operating system? Windows 10. Remember one point. Every operating system has its own language. Listen carefully here. I'm explaining some important points here. So operating system and microprocessor. I want to talk about these 2 points. Operating system and microprocessor. So operating systems are like Windows is the operating system. Windows is the operating system. Okay, Linux is the operating system. Unix is the operating system. Okay, Mac is the operating system. Okay, so such about the MS DOS is the operating system. So these are the operating systems. Remember one point. Every operating system has its own language. Okay, and every microprocessor has its own language. The language which can be understood by one operating system may not be understood by another operating system. So the language which can be understood by the Windows may not be understood by the Linux. The language which can be understood by the Linux may not be understood by the Unix. Okay. So now, for example, we are the Indians. Our national language is Hindi. So we can understand Hindi. Okay. So but Americans cannot understand Hindi. Okay. So like that, our language is Hindi. So their language is English. Okay. So some of Indians also they cannot understand English. So like that. So every operating system has its own language. Windows has its own language, Linux has its own language, Unix has its own language. So the instructions which can be understood by one operating system may not be understood by another operating system. So like that for microprocessor also. Okay, what are the examples for microprocessor? So most famous microprocessor is Intel. So like that Celeron is the microprocessor, AMD is the microprocessor. Okay, these are the examples for microprocessors. So the instructions which can be understood by the Intel microprocessor may not be understood by the Celeron or AMD. The instructions which can be understood by the AMD microprocessor may not be understood by the Celeron or Intel. So every microprocessor has its own language, every operating system has its own language. So based on our system's operating system and microprocessor, this machine code will be generated. Okay, so here this computer has Windows 10 operating system, so that generates Windows 10 machine code. That generates Windows 10 machine code here. So this is Windows 10 machine code. So this Windows 10 machine code can be understood by the operating system. So because it is the language of this one only, so that displays result to us. Okay, whereas see, for example, here another system is there. This is another system. This system has also same operating system, Windows 10. I want to run this CPP program in this another computer. So here, is this same operating system or different operating system? Same operating system. So if same operating system is there, then take this exe file, and place that exe file in this system. So here I'm placing the exe file, hello.exe file, I'm placing in another system here. Now can we run this exe file here? Yes, we can run here, because here which operating system is there in this system? Windows 10. This exe file has Windows 10 machine code. So this has Windows 10 machine code. Windows 10 machine code can be understood by Windows 10 operating system, so we can run directly here. For example, here another computer is there. Here another computer is there. This computer has another operating system. For example, Linux operating system is there. Okay, now in such type of situations, if different operating system is there, if you place exe file here, okay, if you place that hello.exe file here, then can we run this exe file here? No, we cannot run. Why? Because this exe file has Windows 10 machine code. This is Windows 10 machine code. Windows 10 machine code cannot be understood by the Linux. So Linux language is different, Windows language is different. So Linux cannot understood. So you cannot run this exe file, but I have given a statement. What is that statement? C++ programs we can run on any system, even if operating system is same or different. So here different operating system is there. If different operating system is there, what we do is take this source code file, don't place exe file, take source code file and place here. In this system, place the source code file hello.cpp. Now again we have to compile here. Okay, now that will generate the exe file. This exe file contains which native code? Linux native code. So this Linux native code can be understood by the operating system, so that displays result to us. So here only two cases are there. If same operating system is there, here this is same operating system. So if same operating system is there, simply take exe file and place it, you can run. If different operating system is there, then place source code file, then again compile, then you can run. Okay, hence we can run C++ application, the C++ application on any other system, even if operating system same or different. Once again I'm repeating. Okay, so here hello.cpp file, after compilation, that is generating exe file. This exe file contains machine code according to the operating system that generates. This computer has Windows 10, so Windows 10's machine code generated here. So if you want to run this C++ application in another system, okay, if same operating system is there, simply take this exe file and place in that system. Now you can run, because this has Windows 10 native code. Windows 10 native code can be understood by Windows 10. Okay, whereas if you want to run this C++ application in another system which has different operating system, in such type of situations, don't place exe file, place source code file. Now again compile. When we compile, that generates exe file according to the Linux. Now you can run on this operating system. So if same operating system is there, place exe file. If different operating system is there, place source code file. That's it. This is about the fourth feature. So today we discussed how many features? Four features of C++. What are those? What are those four features? General purpose, middle level, object oriented, and portable. In the next class, I will explain these remaining features. Now I'm stopping the session. In the next class, I will explain these remaining features. Today we discussed only four features. Okay, now I'm stopping the session. Okay, now regarding today's topic, okay, if you have any doubts, please ask me. Yes, yes, any doubts? Yes, okay, Islam, how to register this batch? So please contact to the Durgasoft office. Okay, Islam, you missed one class, right? So you that one class uploaded on YouTube. So that last class uploaded on YouTube, Islam last class uploaded on YouTube. So you can refer the topic. You can refer yesterday's class on YouTube. Okay, that is already uploaded on YouTube. Okay, so please subscribe our channel, Durgasoft channel. So Durgasoft channel, please subscribe that one. There you can find our C++ class. Okay, so very basic class that one. Just I explained Islam in the previous class. Just I explained what is hardware and software. That's it. Very basic class. So you can refer the topic on YouTube. Okay, Islam. Yes. Okay. So for registration process, please contact to the Durgasoft office. Please contact to the Durgasoft office. Arpit, please contact to the Durgasoft office. Okay, you can find our contact number in Durgasoft website. In the Durgasoft website, you can find our online team number. You can contact and you can register for the batch. Arpit, is it okay? Yes. Any doubts? Okay, shall I stop the session? Okay, so today we discussed four features. Tomorrow I will explain remaining features. Okay, thanks to all. Okay, meet you tomorrow. At same time, at 7:10 I start the class. At 7:10 I start the class. Okay, please log on at 7:05. I will start the class at 7:10. Okay, thanks to all. Meet you tomorrow. Okay, thank you, Vamshi. You can log out now.